Ah, Paladins, champions of justice, divine intervention, smiting their enemies wherever they go, and possibly being stuck to the lawfully good alignment. But no more, because 5e changed all that. Welcome to the Attic Dungeon. My name is Sam, and whether you want to be a godless heathen or a hippie knight, I'm here to help you with everything. Before we get started today, quick shout out to you guys. Thank you for watching my stuff. Apparently during my short break, my channel made it to the almighty number of 100 subscribers. I feel so powerful. No, seriously. Thank you, really. Thank you very much. If you aren't a subscriber yet, do not hesitate to click the button which is somewhere down below there or there. I don't know how mirror view works for recordings even after almost a year. Thank you, and let's continue. Ah, yes, Paladins, the iconic knight in shining armor, stalwart protector of the weak, shining blade in the darkness and traditional wet blanket of the party, sucking all the fun out of possible criminal alignment with their boring righteous attitude. Up to 5e, Paladins were kind of stuck in this stereotype, which didn't mean that you couldn't make a paladin an interesting character, but it did mean you were kind of shoehorned into this role of being a very, very, very lawful good Captain America type of paladin. But since 5e, paladins no longer necessarily derive their powers from a god, but from the oath they swear. Their powers are still considered divine in nature, but not necessarily stem from a god. It sounds a bit vague perhaps, and nothing stops you from being a paladin who does swear his oath in front of the altar of your chosen god, but it might just as well be an oath sworn while standing over the grave of a beloved. It has equal strength, and some power in the universe deems you worthy of wielding certain powers as long as you stick to that oath. I love paladins and the ideals they embody, but I love the more open possibilities they have in 5e even more. As per usual, in my RP videos, I will do two things. Firstly, I'll help you to flesh out that traditional beacon of hope paladin, and we'll make sure that you really nail down that character concept that makes you appear as a leader of heroes. Afterwards, though, we'll be tearing this concept to pieces, and I'll give you some different takes on characters that are just as much paladin as Captain Holypants, but a bit less traditional concept-wise. So, seeing as your paladin's powers stem from the oath they take, this will also define a lot of the character concept. It's maybe slightly weird that you only take your oath at the 3rd level, but already have paladini powers at level 1 in the form of lay on hands and the freaky evil good radar thing that you have but never use. So, you'll need a bit of an explanation why your character is already a bit of a divine badass. Maybe he or she has been or is being trained by other paladins. When taking the more traditional paladin approach, it is not far-fetched at all that your paladin is being trained by an existing order. And that hence, once you have collected enough experience in the world, see, not experience points, but actual real life experience, see what I did there, RP, oh yes, you have obtained enough experience in the world out there to swear the oath of your order and hence join them completely. In which case, your first 2 levels are really seen as an acolyte phase, where you've received some basic training, but you're still a novice in the order, and swearing your oath will make you a full-fledged member of the Order of the Blessed Shield or whatever. Having an order you come from also gives you an easy backstory that ties into the ideals you want your paladin to represent. You don't have to come up with an entire bunch of NPCs for that. Just name the order, maybe your trainer, and figure out what oaths they allow their paladins to swear. Just keep in mind that the standard paladin does still fight for good, and there's little you can do wrong here. The most important things are the ideals linked to your oath. What does it mean for your character? What does he or she have to do to uphold this oath? Are there limits on how they can do it? Are there things they are forbidden from doing? If you want to go full Catholic Church, you can always prohibit them from copulating with females of the species, but maybe they just can't drink, or they cannot lie, or they cannot walk past a person in need without offering help, something like that. There's a lot of concepts out there. What makes your oath the oath of your order, and what are the basic tenets? At level 2, your spellcasting comes into play, and maybe more important as a paladin, your smiting powers. Just like with any magical class, it really helps to imagine what your spells look like while you're casting them. Is it the standard fireworks show of holy light, or is it something a bit more subtle? Are there standard phrases used for certain spells or when you're smiting, and these phrases have been handed down by the members of your order for generations? Maybe your order has a battle cry. As I've said before, you don't have to do these things all the time, but these are little RP nuggets that can really flesh out a character and make them memorable, not just to you, but to your entire party. If you have this battle cry that is being used by your order, your party surely knows that when you shout this battle cry, the gloves are off and shit is going to go down. This can be really fun, to be honest. And then at level 3 we have the most important moment, the moment you finally receive your subclass, swear your oath to whatever thing you want to swear it to. It can be a really fun moment if your DM makes you swear an actual oath somewhere in a related temple or other place. I know other classes usually don't get this type of special attention when receiving their subclass, but the Paladin oath just has a nice little opportunity for extra role-playing, and that is why we're here doing this video, isn't it? Maybe the party will attend your oath ceremony, little celebration afterwards, if your order is one that celebrates at all, that is. From here on out, you're all set for greatness. Uphold your oath, rid the world of evil, and smite stuff like it's the only thing you've been doing for the past 20 years. Now, paladins also often serve as the party leader and the face of the party. Make out what type of leader you want your paladin to be. Is he a stern but righteous leader? Is he more of the compassionate type? Combine all these things together and you will get a very decent, classic paladin. So now that we're done with the traditional paladin, let's have a look at a few different concepts. As per usual, each of my concepts will challenge one specific aspect of the standard class image. We'll start in this case with alignment. Instead of being lawful good, why not be chaotic good? And I can see you think, Sam, doesn't swearing an oath and having to uphold it automatically make you lawful? How can a chaotic character ever keep up an oath? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's not because you're a chaotic character that you automatically turn into the Joker. Just like being lawful doesn't automatically make you Batman. Your character can hold up the tenets of an oath, but do it in a very chaotic way. If we have a look at the tenets of the Oath of Ancients, for example, there is nothing in there that prevents me from being a chaotic good paladin. Swearing to be kind and merciful, a defender of life and beauty. That doesn't turn me into some rigid lawkeeper. It turns me into a more free concept of a paladin. I'll make a very bold statement and say that this paladin can even lie if it serves a good purpose. Some oaths mention that lying is always bad. This is not one of them, so this paladin could weasel his way into the lair of the enemies by pretending to be one of them instead of just kicking down the door and start smiting left and right. Your party's rogue will actually love you for a change, for being able to go along with whatever con he's pulling off, as long as it serves a good purpose. It is very easy to see this paladin as a bit more playful than our OG Captain Holypants paladin, wearing armor with leafy decorations and an axe that might look like an animal's claw. Quite possibly this paladin doesn't even have a real order. There's possibly a bunch of them out there, and they gather every Midsummer's Eve to meet up, share tales and wisdom, and swear in the new guys they picked up along the road. But the rest of the year they spend traveling around the world and acting out their good life, protecting beauty and stuff like that. You know how it works, Paladin life. So probably they don't get their powers from a god in this case. It could be that there's some god of nature watching over them. It could be that it's other spirits. It could be that it's the very location where they come back to every year has some sort of mystical power. And if you swear your oath in that location, it's the location that will keep you paladin-y for the rest of your life, as long as you uphold the oath of the ancients. Their magic might look a bit more druidic, perhaps. The smite could appear as a hail of thorns following their initial strike. They might actually befriend people instead of just being the wet blanket of the party. No? Is that just me? Or am I the only one seeing Celtic good paladins here? Actually, this guy sounds like he would be a blast to multi-class into a bard. I mean, it kind of fits the spirit, doesn't it? The Celtic Good Paladin also sounds like a really good fit for the new Oath of Glory from the Theros book. They focus on gathering renown through performing good deeds, and they sound like a really snug fit for a paladin who's strong and brave, but maybe not too clever. I'm going to do one more concept based off an alignment. Normally I try to do something different for each concept, but because alignment was so iconic for Paladins in previous editions, I want to take my time breaking it to pieces. So goodbye, Lawfully Good again, and hello, Lawful Neutral. Lawful Neutral might fit an Oath of Vengeance Paladin. Go for maybe a bit more of a bounty hunter type who has a strict code. Or you could be a paladin who has sworn oath of the crown. You are sworn to your ruler, and your ruler expects you to keep his lands or her lands safe and uphold justice wherever you can. And he expects you to do it in a civil and knightly way for as long as possible. But if the opponents start to fight dirty, there would not necessarily be anything preventing you from doing the same. Now, it is important with these Celtic Good and Lawful Neutral alignments to remember that you're still fighting the good fight. Don't use these alignments as an excuse to be a constant asshole in the campaign. Especially for you lawfully neutral guys, you would still have a very strict code that you follow. And as I've said before, being chaotic does not turn you into the Joker. If we have a look at the tenets in the Oath of Vengeance, there's actually some good guiding material in there. You want to punish the wicked by any means necessary, but if because of your failure you cause harm to people, you must help them. That is a really nice in-between. You get to go all out to catch the bad guys, but if you cause harm because of it or you fail, you have to help those that you failed or those that you harmed. That is really keeping the balance, and that is what this concept would be all about. The magic of a vengeance paladin might be a bit less holy chimes and pling plong plang everywhere and more fiery. Your hold person spell could be fiery chains wrapping around your target. Your hunter's mark could be a fiery brand clearly indicating your sworn enemy. Your avenging angel form could be a fiery archangel focused on slaying the wicked. An order of vengeance might be part training hall and part bounty hunters guild. Your paladin could be assigned targets based on what is happening in the world and could be sent out. This is actually a nice way to hook your character into pretty much any existing campaign after you talk to your DM a bit to see what's going on and which target could be a good lead for your paladin to get involved into the much grander scheme that might be going on. Our last paladin concept is not a far stretch from what is in the books. It is completely based on the Oath of Redemption. I love this oath because it steps away from another big paladin stereotype, namely that you kick in the door and start slaying everything that's evil. Oath of Redemption paladins believe that everybody is born innocent and should be given the chance to be converted back to the side of good. So even when combat is clearly going to erupt, they will give the evildoers the chance to repent and come to the side of good. They will try to talk them out of their foolishness. But if they don't, and it's clear that by slaying their enemies, the paladins can save more lives, they do not hesitate to open a can of whoop-ass and serve it ice cold to the enemies. So don't worry, it's not that you're going to play some combat incapable paladin. He's just as capable as every other paladins. He gets boosts to its combat prowess and his social business, which is nice. You get spells like sleep and calm emotions as well, but you're playing a very different type of paladin. You're not just waltzing in aiming to destroy everything. You're waltzing in aiming to destroy as little as possible and salvage what can be salvaged actually. Your holy magic will be more like waves of light again. Maybe until you start smiting. Your smites maybe are explosive and violent just to, you know, when you gotta destroy evil, you really gotta destroy evil. Do watch out though when you're playing this type of paladin. Since you're approaching almost everything from an angle that it can be redeemed, it might happen that you try to change every combat encounter into a social encounter. Be considerate to the rest of your party and to yourself. I mean, you do have those spell slots for smiting. Offer them the chance, but if it's clear that the enemy will never come back from its evil ways, don't hesitate to beat him into a bloody pulp. Humor the barbarian in the party, go wild now and then, but your first instinct should always be to offer redemption. Your order has trained you in the diplomatic arts just as much as they trained you in the combat arts. So use these two very different skill sets and don't just be RoboCop paladin killing everything left and right. Try to make something good out of the evil in the world. Play the Oath of Redemption. Well then, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I inspired you to be the best Divine Crusader or non-Divine Crusader you can be. Now go out there, create some paladins, come back here, tell me in the comment sections how it went, and then we'll see each other again in the Attic Dungeon.